we with a gentleman here that we had the pleasure of interviewing prior to this outing, and he gave his expertise with FIFA and all these things. So he has been appointed, and he would tell you, the public, what his appointment is all about and his function and job description.
Well, thanks for having me. Of course, for those who recognize the face, the name is Norris Ferguson. I am the Director of Club Licensing and Compliance for the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association.
When did you get this appointment?
I was appointed on January 15th, 2020.
And that's from the new regime under
President Wallace.
Okay, so did you have this expertise before, or is something that you're gonna take on to add to your long resume of football experience?
Well, it is new in terms of the drive by FIFA and CONCACAF to have clubs compliant and professionalize the operation. So it is new in terms of the portfolio, but it is old in terms of administrative functions, of which I was privy to because of my exposure with W Connection and Central FC and different operations of administration at the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association. Club licensing, it is, when you look at it, trying to get clubs to be professional in the way they do things administratively. And if you would like to perform or participate in CONCACAF competitions, then you must be compliant in terms of the way things are done. So my role is to guide the clubs into the process. There are basic structures that CONCACAF are asking of them, that is infrastructure, social responsibility, legal responsibility, the administration. And when we say administration, in terms of how your club is structured, the responsibilities assigned. So in other words, we are no longer looking at the one-man show where you're operating from inside the car trunk. You want to be able to function where you have responsibilities assigned to your executive. So you have a general manager, you will have someone responsible for marketing, you will have somebody responsible for finance, and then you would also indicate who your head coach, who that person is. So each portfolio will be identified. In terms of infrastructure, you will advise CONCACAF, because the CONCACAF will know the venues in Trinidad. They will know which are the venues that are suitable or qualified to host their events. But they will still want to know if you would probably, like for instance, La Hoqueta Rangers, they have their own complex, but whether or not it meets the standard required by CONCACAF is another thing. So yeah, you may put up the Martin Sporting Complex, for instance, but whether it meets the standards required by FIFA and CONCACAF is another thing. So CONCACAF would want to ensure that you have met those standards. And my role is to also assist you to ensure that you maintain those standards.
From the club side and not from the CONCACAF side?
From the club side.
Right. So assisting in terms of letting them know the requirements, assisting logistically, or?
No, letting them know the requirements, because as I said, there are things that in terms of a CONCACAF competition, CONCACAF will send to you requesting of you, like seating, how many toilets, capacity or lighting, there's a certain lux that must be used in order for proper TV viewing and that kind of stuff, So CONCACAF will give you, whether you have a media room, whether you have a room for CONCACAF to have an office. Once there is a CONCACAF tournament, there are basic requirements to be fulfilled, and they will want to ensure that those are satisfied.
So these clubs that you are talking about, are they bona fide, supposed to be bona fide clubs in Trinidad and Tobago, pro league clubs, or at what level are these clubs in the CONCACAF database? Is it all clubs under the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association banner, or is it clubs at a certain level of competition?
Well, in this instance, CONCACAF will be paying attention to your first division, and in our case, we have first division and second division. So the second division will apply with a minimum criteria, but still within the criteria set by CONCACAF.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're aspiring to compete in a CONCACAF competition, then it might make good sense that you start preparing for that occasion.
Okay. And the second division, is that Super League?
Super League.
Okay.
So you have the domestic registration, which is the licensing for Division 2, and then you have regional, which will be CONCACAF competition, which will be Division 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And for all intents and for Division 1 is the Pro League and Division 2 is the Super League.
That is correct.
Okay, so so you were fortunate enough. How is that going? I understand that you had either a seminar or something with the teams this past week, or how did that go?
Well, we had the visit of the persons responsible for club licensing and football development. We had Mr. Jason Roberts, Christian Tonelli, and Jonathan Martinez. They were all from CONCACAF. So they came here in the workshop to prepare the clubs for the upcoming season to be licensed. It is a 1-year license, and you have to meet certain criteria, which I indicated to you just now. And once you satisfy those requirements, then you give them a license to perform in whatever competition that.
I mean, that license being like a permit, like a kind of...
Like a permit to give you permission.
Permission to
So I'm saying the purpose is to professionalize the whole operation. So you do things in an orderly manner, just not haphazardly.
So they being here, that didn't circumvent yours. They're just that having they being here is a little more attractive or a little more influential, because they sort of reinforcing the same thing that you would be passing on to the club.
Yeah,
so
well,
it's almost like a seminar passing out the fundamentals for you to run with it when
that
you
is
go
correct.
back.
So in other words, what they brought is to the workshop was the requirements as requested by CONCACAF. So in other words, they're reinforcing what I have been saying to the clubs, and it's not that I want these.
Yeah, it's not a personal thing.
Not a personal thing. CONCACAF is saying to you, well, we have accepted the fact that you have someone in Trinidad who will be carrying through the mandate as requested by us, not the other way around. So it is CONCACAF's mandate, and I am just enforcing what CONCACAF is requesting.
Well, okay, for other references now, the coronavirus, how is that gonna, in moving forward? I guess your seminar was this week, right?
My seminar was
And I
Wednesday.
understand things, as you see with the MLS and everything else, it's all suspended. So it's going to be a stalemate going on.
Well,
right
the
now.
coronavirus would not impact on me per se in terms of
paperwork.
because they're working indoors.
Okay.
They're working, the requirements to be licensed is uploaded into the system.
Okay.
the data as requested by CONCACAF. So it's not something physical on the
Well,
outside.
it sounds like more of an advantage in terms of if you had some non-compliant clubs, they have a longer window now because there's no activity, no?
As a matter of fact, no. The deadline for submission is still the 31st of March for submission
Even
of
if
your
there
document.
might be no activity or...
Yeah, because they're not participating in any competition. This is preparing them for participation. So
Okay.
they have to satisfy the requirements first in order to participate
Okay.
as a licensed club.
But I know the culture here is, they tell yourself, well, nothing is happening, so we good.
Not with me as the person responsible for
Yeah,
club.
and not with CONCACAF either
Not
too.
with CONCACAF.
Okay. So I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to pass this information on to the public. You know, this is an area that a lot of the clubs, and mostly maybe the amateur clubs, to realize that maybe if they start with these type of requirements, it's easy as they start to elevate in competition and improve their status.
That is correct.
So I want to thank you for passing this information on through me to the public.
Thank you for having me.